especially coming back from the Olympics, as you know, you're hot stuff. You're in the limelight all the time, and I've never let that limelight kind of disappear. Even though I retired for a while, I always try to keep my name out there and keep busy and put me, and that's kind of helped me to now. Even though people are not following me on YouTube because I'm an Olympian, or they don't know me because I'm an Olympian, they know me because of YouTube, and then they find that out. Like, I'm walking around the streets of Thailand now, I'm getting recognised, getting pictures with people every single day, and it's crazy to me. And like, coming back from Beijing, it wasn't like this. It might have been like that in Sunderland, but in Thailand, or when I've just been in Japan or in Hawaii, it's happening everywhere because of the online presence that I've got now. And like I said, it's just by putting the work into this, like I put into boxing.
I want to deep dive into your life, and I would like to start in the boxing career, because that's what you did. Boxing was your first love, right?
Yeah.
Boxing was your first love. You started at 10 years old, you mentioned. Mate, you had such a storied amateur and professional career. Let's dig into some of the highlights. Do you remember your first schoolboy title?
Yes. Yeah.
Where was it? Who'd you beat? What was the score?
It was Barnsley Metrodome.
Same as me.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. I stopped him in the first round. I couldn't believe it.
That's in there.
Yeah, I was like, I had big man strength for I was a 13-year-old. I was punching hard. So, yeah. And then it was the same the next year. I stopped the guy in the final there for the schoolboy title. So,
nice.
Yeah, I remember stuff like that well, but I forget a lot of stuff as well. I don't know if you're the same. You know, I forget a lot of stuff. Yeah, and that's why another thing we might talk about on this is I'm big into brain health and trying to get our brains as healthy as they can, because we've been punched in the face thousands of times. How many fights did you have total, amateur and professional?
So, mate, goodness me, I've got, you know what it's like, I got punched in the head so many times I don't even remember. When we were kids and young men, we'd go to a different tournament every single week, and you'd have 2 fights, 3 fights, 4 fights, come back and go to Poland, and then go to Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan and Germany. So man, I genuinely lost count. Hundreds. Like, I know you've said you've had 106 fights in your life.
Yeah. So from that, I've done the maths, and I've been punched in the face like 40,000 times with all the training and the build-up and all that, which is ridiculous. So you'll be the same.
I mean, I've heard you say that numerous times anyway, but for those of you who haven't heard Tony Jeffries talk before, 40,000 times punched in the head. From being 10 years old sparring to retiring at 27. I think you and I, there's like life works out best for those who make the best of the way life works out. And the way you look at things, if you change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. And you and I had our careers stolen from us as we were entering the peak of our athletic powers. However, there's one way to look at it. We were saved 10 years of getting punched in the head.
Yeah.
We saved ourselves 10 more years of getting bludgeoned by big, strong, horrible, smelly, sweaty boxers that punch hard and are trying to kill. So, mate, we're gonna get into this in a bit down the road, but I want to focus on your boxing career, because although you are a sensation now at what you're doing, and I'm so happy for you for that, it's the boxing career that made you, and the work ethic that you have now that's made you become a success was learned from the gym, the press-ups, the punching, the sparring, the running. One of the things we are so similar, we both had major success at major tournaments as kids, as cadets. You won the European Championships as a kid, right?
Yeah. You won the Worlds, right?
I won the world. What can you remember some of those fights and how you felt in being the champ, being the best ever boxer in Europe?
I was 16. I was put on this program, and then my first tournament at Box for England a few times was the European Championships, the Cadet Championships, and I went to them, and then I won the gold medal there. I boxed 3 times. I stopped all 3 opponents, which was I didn't even realise how big it was. Then when I come back, I was like, I was the first English boxer to win a European title in like 20-something year, and that just showed the government that the funding was working, even though we just got on it. So then they'd put more money into it through my success as well. Not they would have continued to do it anyway, but I got told that helped with the funding, and then next thing I'm a European champion. I couldn't bloody believe it, and I kind of start getting paid a little bit from England. It was like £500 every 3 months. But when you're a 16-year-old at school, it was amazing getting 500 quid, you know. And then the funding really started, I think, when I was like 17, 18, and you start getting on, I think it was £500 a month or something like that, and then it just snowballed from there. It really is.
So, wait, so the Olympics, let's talk about the Olympics, because it's the greatest spectacle in the world, the granddaddy of all granddaddies in terms of sport and entertainment. Your Olympic experience, how fondly do you remember it? The qualification, the getting there, when you finally qualified and you could say you were an Olympian and get the rings tattooed on your body. What was that feeling like?
Mate, it was the best, because before my 2008, in the previous 8 years, there was only 3 boxers ever went to the Olympics. In previous 8 years, 3 boxers from Great Britain, which was Audley Harrison, Courtney Fry and Amir Khan. So just to think you're going to get there, you know, like deep down, it was like I didn't really believe that I would have got there. So to go through that 8 years training program of all the fights, surgeries, and all other stuff that come with it, and then finally, you know, get there to qualify for the Olympics, so that was up there with one of the best feelings in my life. It really was, because as well, I boxed in Chicago. I boxed their American team captain, Christopher Downs, with the arena shouting, USA, USA. So that was the one before the qualifier. But yeah, the qualifier was amazing. How was your qualifying experience?
Mate, my qualifying experience, it was that week we went to Trabzon. I had, like you, mate, I had major injury problems. At the Worlds the year before, the first qualifier, I dislocated my shoulder in a fight against a Russian. For half fight with one arm, beat him 12-1, the world number 1. Bloody hell! Beat him 12-11, sorry, by 1 point. I went and I fell down in round 2. He swung me down, I fell down, and as I fell down, my shoulder popped out of the socket, and I stood up in phases. I kind of stood up, and my arm was on the floor still, and I had to kind of push it back in the socket. And so I sub-blocked it. It popped out and went back in, but it was jangling in my shoulder socket. And I had to fight the rest of the fight with one arm. Jab, hook, hold on to him, shove him. Jab, hook, hold on to him, shove him. European champion, world number 1. He was mustard. And at the end of the fight, it was a really hard fight. And at the end of the fight, they called us into the middle, and I win it in the red corner of Gogo. It was the biggest fight in my life. Nobody really thought I was going to beat him. And I went to celebrate, and my shoulder came out. I couldn't even celebrate the biggest win of my life. And then that was I had to win 3 fights to qualify. Then my next fight, I had to fight a Brazilian, a southpaw, and I was beat the world number 2. The Brazilian was world number 10. So I beat the world number 1. The Brazilian was world number 9. He's in my section of the draw. I had the world number 1 and 9, and I had to beat 2 seeded boxers to qualify. And then he was a southpaw. My backhand was fucked. I couldn't throw the backhand, and then he beat me. Then I had to come home. I flew home from Azerbaijan. I had surgery the very next day. I had to do a 12-month rehab in 4 months. Rushed back to go for the second qualifier, and I qualified. In one of my fights against the Georgian, I was 6 points down going into the last round, and I overturned this 6 points. I have no idea how I did it, mate. Wow. So from Beijing. Now, this isn't about me. This is very much about you, and your story is way more interesting.
I want to hear this.
And I want to get back onto you as soon as possible. But to finish this story, so I was boxing this Georgian, Jaber Kishnevili, his name was, and I was 6 points down going into the last round to qualify for Olympic Games, and he Lee Pullen, the nicest, calmest boxing coach in the world, would talk to me like a gentleman. He slapped me after round 2. What the fuck are you doing? The Olympics, you're gonna blow it. And then I just lost my head. And I had 3 minutes, 180 seconds to keep my Olympic journey alive, my dream alive. And from Beijing to London, the 4-year Olympic cycle, from your cycle to my cycle, in elite international boxing, not one person had ever overturned a 3-point deficit in the last round, in the Europeans,
Wow.
in the world, in the Olympics. 4 points is unimaginable, 5 points is impossible. I was 6 points down. And the boxing had gone out the window. It's just a case of who wants it more. I worked so hard in that last round. I overturned a 6 point, 1 on a count back. Don't know how I did it. True story. In that last round, I gave myself exercise-induced asthma. I worked so fucking hard that my poor little chest capillary just exploded. Anyway, I qualified, and the weird thing for me was the really strange experience for me, because, like you said, the expectations had changed, and your cycle, like your lot, the Gale, Frankie Gavin, all those boys, you did change it for us, because, like you said, Audley Harrison went to Olympic Games and he was the one. Him and Courtney Fry. Then Amir Khan went. He was the one person. The 17-year-old went. We weren't expected to do anything really at that point. And then we got the money. Then your lot went through, started doing better. So now the mindset had changed. We were like, oh, Jaffa's won a bronze medal. The Gal's won a gold medal. David Price has won a bronze medal. We can do this. It's now more achievable for us. So again, I keep saying it, and I'm not licking your ass because you're on my podcast. I'm saying thank you to you, because you did help blaze a trail for us. And the guys on the squad now, I'm sure they're going to go and win a bag full of medals in Paris next year. I hope they have the respect that I have for you, for the people that have led the way, because without them we don't do it. Anyway, but so when I qualified, it was a strange feeling. I thought I was going to be doing backflips. I thought I was going to be doing cartwheels. I'm now an Olympian. Don't get me wrong, it was an amazing feeling, but I was like, okay, I'm here now where I should have been anyway last year before my shoulder got bad. So, like, I smiled. It was almost more relief. And then it was like, now back to business. Now let's go and get a medal. So it was a strange feeling. Anyway, mate, back to you.
That's crazy. No, that's crazy. How it was just like, oh yeah, I've qualified now. Because I just how amazing my feeling was, and that's unbelievable. Because I remember when you said about being behind, I can't remember the actual numbers, the stats, but it was one of those, someone on the team, I think was he called Richard, who used to watch the videos and analyse and all that. He, what was the guy called on the team who used to watch the videos and all that?
Was it Robert Gibson?
Rob Gibson, yeah, it was Rob. They found out that there was like something like a 5% chance of winning the fight if you're down like 3 points going to the last round or something. That was when I was. So hearing you were down 6 points, like, you've lost that fight, but then you've somehow pulled that out the bag and battered that guy. I bet that's a great round to watch of boxing. Just watching you just going crazy. So respect for that, mate. That's amazing. So hard to do. So well done, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.